김정은 위원장과 나는 지난 4월 27일 판문점에서 만나 뜨겁게 포옹했습니다. 우리 두 정상은 한반도에서 더 이상 전쟁은 없을 것이며 새로운 평화의 시대가 열렸음을 8천만 우리 결여와 전 세계에 엄숙히 천명했습니다.
(2018) marks the 65th year since the Korean peninsula was divided in two. The peninsula has seemingly turned the page towards a new era of peace, with the leaders of the two Koreas holding 3 summit meetings this year alone.
So when you have a conflict, you need a neutral body, and I truly believe that our delegation and our commission here represent this neutral body available to the parties for different matters.
With the South and North on the verge of declaring a formal end to the Korean War and signing a peace treaty, a group of silent observers who have seen the armistice for years have re-emerged onto the spotlight. 65 years after the end of the Korean War, there are those who have stayed behind to vigilantly monitor peace on the Korean peninsula. It's a heavily restricted area that is off-limits to the general public and requires the passing of several checkpoints to access. It is the Joint Security Area, or JSA, situated in Panmunjom, the only place on the militarized border between the two Koreas where South and North Korean soldiers stand face to face. The military demarcation line between South and North Korea stretches across 248 kilometers from east to west. The demilitarized zone is a 2-kilometer wide strip of land on each side of the military demarcation line that serves as a buffer zone between the two sides. The JSA is located within the demilitarized zone. In the early morning hour of June 25, 1950, the North Korean military launched a surprise invasion of South Korea, resulting in the deadliest conflict in the nation's history. On July 27, 1953, 3 years after the outbreak of war, the United Nations Command, North Korea and China signed the armistice to cease all hostilities on the Korean peninsula. The agreement resulted in the partition of Korea, dividing the country in two.
정전협정이 1953년 7월 27일 날 체결이 됐는데 정전협정이 체결된 이후에는 그 정전회담을 했던 그 장소 일대를 공동경비구역으로 설정을 했어요. 우리가 JSA라고 부르는데 공동경비구역에 군사정지원위원회, 중립국감독위원회 이런 본부들을 위치시키고 주요 회의장을 거기다 만들었어요. 그러다 보니까 거기서 정전협정도 체결됐고 정전협정과 관련된 회의들도 하게 됐고 70년대 이후에 남북 간의 회담이 이루어지면서 이제 판문점 그 일대에서 남북 간의 적십자 회담이라든지 각종 회담들, 특히 남쪽의 평화의 집, 북쪽의 통일각 이런 건물들이 만들어지면서 남북회담도 하고 또 금년 들어서는 거기에서 정상회담을 각각 남쪽, 북쪽에서 한 번씩 열린 그런 세계적으로 유명한 장소가 됐지요.
The JSA is renowned across the world as a place of long-standing confrontation as well as hopeful dialogue. A small footbridge located within the JSA became the center of the world's attention recently after South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un walked across it while holding private discussion without the presence of their aides. This footbridge, which is inaccessible to the public, is used on a daily basis by representatives of the NNSC when they travel to and from Panmunjom.
This is a restricted area in general. For a good 65 years, the only traffic here was the Joint Duty Office and the NNSC, because both sides use this to get to each other. For the summit that happened in April, like 2 weeks before the summit, they built this spur onto the bridge and repainted it. They actually widened this portion of the bridge by a plank each side as well. And that's so the two leaders could walk side by side.
The Neutral Nation Supervisory Commission was created in 1953 by the UN as part of the Korean Armistice Agreement, and the United Nations Command chose Switzerland and Sweden to be based on the southern side of the DMZ.
That's probably the closest as you can get to one of these markers as a. So actually from here, 10 meters, you're in North Korea. So here you see one of the 1,292 MDL markers that mark the military demarcation line.
These officers face North Korea on a daily basis from the closest possible location. Sweden, alongside Switzerland, are one of two members of the NNSC, with representatives based in the South Korean portion of the Joint Security Area.
Usually, you can say Monday to Friday, we normally are 3 to 5 from each delegation up here. I'm staying about 4 nights per week. And during the weekend, we go down for 1 from each nation. So then it's 1 Sweden, 1 Swiss staying up here.
We are a small piece of keeping the armistice agreement going, small piece of the puzzle, because we are the only impartial and independent body. I can talk with the press, I can talk with the media, I can say what I feel and like. I can report to the 4-star general of US if I don't think that the southern side is defensive and deterrent in their action. And in the DMC, where we do education and we do inspections, the troops know that we are here and that we are the international eye on in the DMC. And I think that is to be trustworthy.
Here we have the office for the quartermaster. He's present on his quartermaster run. He will arrive back tomorrow morning.
Although all Swiss and Swedish representatives to the NNSC are military officers, they are completely unarmed and possess no weapons of any kind.
NNSC is an incredibly important institution. As you know, it was invented in the Armistice Agreement from 1953. So from the signing of that agreement in 1953, Sweden was one of the countries that was part of this Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission, and we've been there ever since. The role of this commission is to supervise that the United Nations Command will stick to its words when it comes to the implementation on their side of the peace, of the Armistice Agreement.
Switzerland has been engaged in the NNSC since 1953, since the end of the war, and we are very happy and very proud of this engagement, this commitment to peace and stability on the Korean peninsula.
However, following the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the Communist bloc in Eastern Europe, North Korea unilaterally expelled the NNSC representatives based within its borders. The delegation from Czechoslovakia was removed in 1993, while the Polish delegation was deported in 1995.
북한이 일방적으로 이 유엔군 측 그리고 또 합의 없이 공산 측 중립국감독위원회 국가들을 추방했기 때문에 국제법상으로 논란이 되고 있습니다. 그래서 현재는 비록 그 체코와 그 폴란드가 추방이 됐지만 이 국가들은 1년에 한 번씩 모여가지고 유엔군이 임명한 스위스하고 스웨덴 그 책임자들하고 그리고 폴란드하고 체코 책임자들이 1년에 한 번씩 모여가지고 공동 보고서를 작성해서 현재 유엔에 제출하고 있습니다.
Despite North Korea's expulsion of Czechoslovakia and Poland from the NNSC on its side of the border, the Swiss and Swedish delegations have carried on with their duties. Their mission is to prevent any flare-ups and armed conflicts in and around the military demarcation line.
When I arrived up here, you have seen the blue buildings on photos on TV, and I've seen the blue bridge. But to walk on the blue bridge myself, it was very exciting the first time, and also to be a part of the history. Because as you know, in Sweden, we have been here. We have had assignment here in this position since 1953. So it's a long time. So I'm very happy to be a part of that.
On Tuesday morning, NNSC representatives appeared at a meeting room frequently referred to as T1. They were present at this venue to hold their weekly meeting, one of the main routines for the NNSC officers.
T1, one of the three blue barracks that the world knows about it, is the headquarters of our commission. This is stated in the armistice. We meet every day there. Every day we have officers there, and every week the two generals we meet to take notice and to agree on either inspection, either different numbers that we have to check, and this is still according to the armistice agreement. And it's also a way to be available to the party. Our two doors are open, both sides. North Korea can come, the southern part can come to see our meeting, and also to ask us, if they want, to have a special report of an incident or something. So we are available, but we are also sticking to the armistice that we meet there in this barrack.
As part of the agreement, the minutes of each meeting must be communicated to North Korea. But Pyongyang has ignored the very existence of NNSC for decades. And its mailbox within the conference room is always filled with the old mail from the NNSC, which is never picked by the North.
It's not important if they pick it or not, it's important that we provide it.
We can compare the NNSC as neutral body as a referee. If you play a football game, if you don't see the referee, the whole match is the best. So I will say, if we are not so well known, but the situation go well, and if the referee must not come out to speak and to explain, then it's better. So in that sense, I think it's good that the Korean population knows that there is an armistice, the rule of the armistice, that's very important, and also to work towards a peace, and it's not so important that the actors pushing toward peace are so well known.
Camp Greaves is located in the city of Paju in Gyeonggi-do Province. A special exhibition is being held here today. It's an exhibition that documents the history of the NNSC during its long tenure here. It includes photographs of the NNSC's daily activities in Panmunjom and other related items from throughout its history since the signing of the Armistice Agreement on July 1953.
1950년대 정전협정 이후에는 한국은 폐허가 됐고 그리고 비극과 분단의 상징이라고 보여지는데 실질적으로 NNSC가 촬영한 사진들을 보면은 그 모습에는 저희 그 한국인의 모습에 웃음도 있고 희망도 있는 걸 볼 수 있어서 그때 당시엔 이데올로기 갈등이 빈번하게 있었지만 그럼에도 불구하고 우리 안에서 희망의 씨앗이 자라나고 있었고 또한 중립국감독위원회, 판문점에 머물다 간 사람들 그리고 머물고 있는 사람들이 그 씨앗을 뿌리고 가서 지금은 이렇게 많이 성장을 해서 남북 협력도 얘기가 나오고 있고 이런 것들을 볼 수 있을 것 같습니다.
I worked here for 3 years for Swiss NNSC and I walked over this bridge many times. I lived there and often I make a stop there and look around and listen what I can hear, what can I see and what can I feel. And with this blue bridge I want to show and give the people a little bit of feeling what we feel or we had felt all the time in this place. Sometimes you have a very beautiful nature. Sometimes it was a little bit scared in the night when you hear the loudspeaker propaganda for North and South. And this was often a situation I waked up in the night, I heard this message. I could not understand what they say because I speak not Korean. But at this moment I had special feelings and emotion about that. And with this project I want to show the people a part of it, what I've done at this time.
As shown by the photographs, the Joint Security Area has witnessed many historic events throughout the NNSC's tenure. The Panmunjom axe murder incident in 1976 remains one of the most shocking episodes that occurred on the border, more than 40 years after it took place. From loudspeakers blaring out anti-South Korean propaganda to the defection of North Korean soldiers across the border, there have been many incidents at the JSA that put the NNSC on high alert.
The most tense moment was the first night I slept here, and my general told me when he was going home, the one, my predecessor, said, "There is no lock on the door, but it doesn't matter, they will come in anyhow." That was a little bit spooky night. Then it was a change when Kim Jong-il died, Kim Jong-un came to power, and then they claimed the nuclear test and the missile launches. And I came here after the shelling of Waipidu and the sinking of the Shonan. So that was also in people's mindset. When I came back here, 17, it was even more tensed. And of course, when the defector ran over in the JSA and was shot at, of course that is raising tension as well. And with the new president in the White House in the US, this had never been done before, so I'm very happy where we are today. And so I think the entire process has been very tense.
When I arrived there, it was loudspeaker from both sides, nearly 24/7. Normally they cut down at 0100 in the night, and then they started up at 0300. So yeah, yes, oh, it's good, now the sound is away, and then it started 2 hours later.
North Korea's military provocation was steadily maintained regardless of any changes in its leadership. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ordered a total of 4 nuclear tests up until 2017, since taking power back in 2012. However, inter-Korean relations emerged out of its deep freeze starting in 2018.
We from the NNSC, we watched it very closely, and we see that very positive everything that goes towards a peaceful settlement here.
While our crew was visiting the NNSC, we also ran into a group of a very special guests, with the ambassadors from Sweden, Denmark, and Norway also touring the JSA on the very same day. The ambassadors listened intently as the NNSC representatives delivered their presentation. Issues related to the Korean Peninsula is of high importance to them as well.
I am, of course, sad to see that in this beautiful country, with such a potential, there's been such a fortified border dividing the country for so long, for much too long. So obviously, the UNC and the NNSC, I would wish that to go away, and I sincerely hope that the North and the South will be able one day to agree on modalities for a peace regime or for a peace treaty. And the current dynamic is, of course, extremely encouraging. I sincerely hope that during my tenure here as an ambassador in Seoul, that I will see openings there.
The ambassadors gathered here today may also be sensing a new wave of changes to the Korean Peninsula in light of recent developments.
With regard to the situation on the Korean Peninsula, Switzerland has always strongly believed that the solution can only be found by peaceful means, by negotiation, by diplomatic means, and certainly not by military means. That is why Switzerland always supported the resolutions of the UN Security Council and supported all efforts from both sides, both South Korea and North Korea, to talk together, to have dialogue, and also the US and other partners.
Notable changes are now being witnessed on the border. They were born out of dialogue and common understanding, not through confrontation and military provocations. History was made on April 27, when the leaders of the two Koreas stepped over the border in Panmunjom and shook hands with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visiting the southern side of the JSA to hold the first inter-Korean summit. This was followed by President Moon Jae-in's visit to Pyongyang 5 months later on September 18. These meetings have strengthened the peace process on the Korean Peninsula on an eventful path toward the former end of the Korean War and the signing of a peace treaty.
Oh, definitely, I hope that in the coming years peace will come, that both Korea will work together for their future. Not only that tension will diminish, but also the different economy will work well, the different exchange. We have seen family reunion, but also exchange of other nature.
The NNSC has stood guard here for 65 years following the end of the Korean War, patiently waiting for the arrival of peace on the Korean Peninsula. There is little doubt that the NNSC will remain vigilant and dedicated in its role until the day when permanent peace is finally established.